I still remember that day, like it happened yesterday. The hospital room smelled like disinfectant and rain. I was holding my newborn baby girl in my arms, tears of joy still drying on my cheeks, when he walked in. He didn't even look at her. He just stared at me with that cold, disappointed face and said, "You're disgusting." I wanted a son. I froze. My heart stopped for a second. I couldn't understand how someone could look at a miracle, our child, and feel anger instead of love. For months after that, I lived in silence. Every time he looked at me, I felt smaller. Every insult chipped away at the woman I used to be. He called me names, said I ruined his family's legacy, said I was cursed. I started believing it. I stopped wearing makeup. I stopped smiling. I stopped being me. My life became a routine of pain and pretending that everything was fine, pretending that his words didn't hurt, pretending I was still alive inside. But then one night, while feeding my daughter, I looked into her eyes. She had the same fire that I used to have, that little spark of life, innocent, unbroken. I realized that if I stayed, she would grow up thinking this was love. And I couldn't let that happen. I had to show her that love doesn't hurt. Love doesn't shame. Love doesn't demand a son to feel complete. So one morning, before sunrise, I packed a single duffel bag. I took a few clothes, some baby food, and a photo of my mother. My hands were shaking as I closed the door behind me. The street was quiet. The air smelled like freedom and fear mixed together. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I was never going back. We ended up in Harlem, sitting inside a small diner with flickering lights and tired faces. I had just enough money for coffee. I held my baby and whispered, "We'll be okay." That's when a stranger walked in, a photographer with an old camera hanging from his neck. He noticed me and smiled. He asked if he could take a photo of us for his project about real women. I almost said no, but something in his voice made me trust him. I nodded. He took one picture, just one click. That sound changed my life. A few weeks later, he found me again and showed me the photo. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. I saw a woman who had survived. He asked if I'd let him submit it to a small magazine. I hesitated, but he said, "You deserve to be seen." So I agreed. Then things started to change, slowly at first, like the first light after a long storm. The photo got attention. One editor wanted to feature me in a campaign about motherhood, then another. Soon, my face, the same one he called ugly, was on posters, billboards, and magazines. People started recognizing me for my strength, not my scars. Years passed, and I built a new life for my daughter. I started working with charities that helped single mothers. I spoke at schools, shared my story, and told women to never let anyone define their worth. My daughter grew up watching me stand tall again, and that was the greatest reward of all. Then came the night of the gala. The same photographer invited me as a guest of honor. I wore a long silver gown and walked into that grand hall with my daughter by my side. The cameras flashed, people smiled, and for the first time, I felt like I belonged. And that's when I saw him, Dex, standing near the bar, holding a glass, looking lost. The same man who once told me I was worthless now couldn't even meet my eyes. Fate has a funny way of turning pain into power. When he accidentally stepped into one of my photos, I turned toward him. The lights hit his face, the cameras focused. I smiled. Not the broken smile I once had, but the confident smile of a woman reborn. "Smile for the camera, Dex," I said softly. "This is your punishment." He froze. The photographers laughed, thinking it was a joke, but we both knew it wasn't. That one moment carried years of pain, survival, and triumph. Later that night, my daughter looked up at him and asked, "You said Mommy was ugly." He looked away, unable to speak. His silence was all the confession we needed. Today, when I see my reflection, I no longer see a woman who wasn't enough. I see a woman who left, who rebuilt, who inspired. Beauty isn't about perfection. It's about courage. It's about the fire in your soul when the world tries to drown you. So, to every woman who's ever been told she's not enough, remember this: your worth doesn't depend on anyone's approval. Your story, your scars, your strength, they make you beautiful. Never settle for someone who can't see your light. One day, they'll regret it, but by then, you'll be too busy shining to even notice.